So drawing bodies in perspective is super hard, and there are a ton of videos that show you how to, like touch on this subject online. I felt like Michael taught this the best, so I'm gonna break down his video and explain how to tackle drawing bodies in perspective. Like I said on our Notion Art Study Guide, I actually learned from Maria on 21draw.com, but Michael is a great free alternative. In order to know how to draw bodies in perspective, Michael first teaches us how to use 4-point perspective grids. And remember 2 weeks ago how I said you need to know your basic perspectives in order to draw bodies in perspectives? Well, I hope you did the work, and if not, I put some links down below. HELLOARTSY did an amazing job breaking the 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, and 3-point perspective by using like a step-by-step pictures and descriptions, so she makes it really easy, or he, I don't know. I'm gonna draw out a box real quick using the vanishing points on the outside and then tell you how it works. The lines inside this box are called cross contours or turning edges. We're going to be calling them parents. The lines that outline the box are called contour lines, but we're going to be calling them children. Now we're going to make it so that the vanishing points, the colorful dots on the outside, are homes. Each parent has their own children, which are the lines that are most parallel to them, and all of these quote-unquote families will go to their corresponding homes. I think we can agree that boxes in perspective are pretty simple. They're just boxes. But when you draw a person in perspective, you have all of these individual body parts that don't abide to the grid that you already have out. The grids you use, whether they're 2-point, 3-point, or 4-point perspectives, or even 5-point, only the overall box for the entire body will adhere to the grid. Now the rest of the body parts are kind of doing its own thing. The torso, the leg, they don't look like the outside box. Before we go over how to draw these individual body parts in perspective, notice how we can simplify each body part into basically a box. So now you're like, the rest of the body just does its own thing? That's kind of overwhelming. Well, I invite you to take a deep breath. I promise it'll get easier once you understand what you gotta do and then put that stuff into practice. Michael basically says that to be able to draw these individual body parts in their own correct perspective, you have to practice freehand drawing boxes. Why? Because that's basically what these individual body parts are. Let's turn this faulty box into a correct box by making sure the children are following the parents home. And I'm sorry the blue one wasn't perfect. These were done without references, and although they're not terrible, they look inaccurate anatomy-wise. So I do warn you, it is unlikely that you'll be able to take this information and start drawing bodies in perspective without a reference. They also looked a little stiff. Michael says to keep force in mind so your boxes don't look stiff and lifeless. This last part will be me doing the homework for our Notion Art Study Guide, and I want to kind of preface all of this by saying I am self-taught, so my method is kind of a combination of all the different instructors and videos I've seen online. So I really recommend going out there and looking up different bodies in perspective drawings and videos done by industry professionals. I think that's where you'll really be able to learn. Here, I think I might be able to provide you some insight by looking at my methods. And to reiterate, with bodies in perspective and really anything, you have to use photo references. I actually did this drawing on TikTok live, and if you saw, majority of the live was me struggling to get a sketch down. It was kind of hard to be okay with it a bit, but honestly, it really is okay to just redo it multiple times. If you look at it here, I drew some boxes underneath. They look like weird trapezoid boxes to represent the actual shape of the human body, and I also applied a little bit of force to it. Not really, I should have probably applied more. Once I got a good base sketch down, I used it to create a more accurate sketch. I do this several times, so right now I'm not thinking too much about perspective. I still am, but right now I'm using my reference and observational skills to make my drawing more accurate. So basically, I use perspective knowledge to create a good base sketch, and then I'm using my observational skills to make better sketches. You're going to need both to draw a body in perspective. So now I'm creating another sketch over it. I'm adjusting the eyes and the hair. I made it more puffy. I'm also going to lower the forearm just a tiny bit to match the reference photo better. In a second, you're gonna see me draw the rib cage area and then adjust the left side to move it more closer to the reference photo. Same with the hips. I moved the legs over. I also felt like the head was coming out too much, so I shrunk it with the liquify tool. I felt like I made pretty good adjustments on that last sketch, so on the next one, I think I'm just gonna clean it up. The sketch phase definitely takes the most time, but it's totally worth it because I've had so many moments where I've jumped into coloring way too quickly when my sketch wasn't accurate yet, and I've had to pay for it dearly. I don't know if you can tell, but I'm still making small adjustments. I'm making the details better. I've added like an ab line and a fat line to her stomach. I'm adding more careful strokes, not so scratchy, but more intentional. So as I render this piece, I'm going to close off this video. Kudos to Kudo. He's the only one who submitted homework this week. I appreciate you. And honestly, if you didn't have time to do your homework this week, that's okay, but also remind yourself not to slack off either. Don't forget about our art competition coming up. Check out 21 Draw and their awesome art courses. I actually learned from that site myself, so I'm a major advocate. And please consider donating to my coffee. It'll help me find more time to create more free tutorials and stuff. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know bodies in perspective looks and can be difficult, but you can definitely do it. Remember, it's not practice makes perfect, it's practice makes progress. Yeah.